Have you heard of Henry Kissinger? He was 100 years old. He died today. He used to be America's top diplomat, quite a powerful and polarizing figure. For some, he was a pragmatic statesman. For others, he was a controversial war criminal. Kissinger was a practitioner of realism, a school of thought that emphasizes the use of power, hard power. He was instrumental in shaping America's foreign policy. Under his leadership, the United States dropped tons of bombs in Cambodia. He negotiated the American withdrawal from Vietnam and got the Nobel Peace Prize for it. He advocated an end to hostilities with the USSR, which is now Russia. It was called Détente. He also ended 23 years of diplomatic isolation and hostility with China. Kissinger had some scathing remarks against India, which is quite undiplomatic for a statesman. And he remained a mover and shaker till the very end. So how did Henry Kissinger's years shape the world order? Here's our report.
To analyze together what
Henry Kissinger was one of America's most powerful top diplomats. He died at his home in Connecticut. He was 100 years old. In some power corridors, Kissinger was a celebrated diplomat. For most, he was a controversial Nobel Peace Prize winner. Kissinger was born in Germany in 1923. He moved to the US in his teenage years before the Holocaust. Kissinger earned his doctorate from Harvard University. He lived the life of an academic for 17 years. It was Republican President Nixon who brought Kissinger into his cabinet and named him the Secretary of State. Who would have known that Kissinger would become a diplomatic powerhouse, shaping America's foreign policy? By the 1970s, Kissinger was playing an important role in global events. He sanctioned the large-scale aerial bombing of Cambodia and Vietnam. He was instrumental in the withdrawal of American troops from Vietnam. And Kissinger was given the Nobel Peace Prize for it, making him one of the most controversial recipients of the award. He was a practitioner of realism or realpolitik, a school of thought that advocates the use of a state's hard power. Yet Kissinger was most known for his policy called Détente. He advocated for better relations between the US and the USSR, what's now Russia. Kissinger pushed for more talks on nuclear arms control. He even called for the downsizing of the world's nuclear arms arsenal. It was Kissinger's policy to increase dialogue with China. His efforts led to President Nixon's historic visit to Beijing in 1972, ending 23 long years of diplomatic isolation and hostilities with China. Kissinger maintained ties with Chinese leadership even after retiring from office. Earlier this year, he met Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. China sent their condolences.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has sent a message of condolence to President Biden on the passing of Dr. Kissinger and condolences to Dr. Kissinger's family.
Kissinger laid the foundation of America's diplomatic ties with China. Beijing continued to express goodwill towards Kissinger despite having frosty ties with the US in recent months.
During his lifetime, Dr. Kissinger attached great importance to Sino-US relations and believed that Sino-US relations were crucial to the peace and prosperity of China, the US and the world. China and the US must inherit and carry forward Dr. Kissinger's strategic vision, political courage and diplomatic wisdom, adhere to the important consensus reached by the Chinese and American presidents at their meeting in San Francisco.
Some say Kissinger pioneered peace in West Asia. He brought about a ceasefire in the 1973 Arab-Israeli War. It was called shuttle diplomacy. During the same period, he lent support to Pakistan during the 1971 liberation of Bangladesh. But Kissinger was no fan favorite when it came to India. He described India's then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi using an unparliamentary term and was later forced to offer a public apology. However, Kissinger's stance towards India changed over the years, as he advocated for stronger ties between India and the US. Kissinger was active till his very end. He wrote several books and was a regular commentator on international affairs. For some, he was a political mastermind. For others, he was a warmonger. Either way, Kissinger played a major role in shaping America's foreign policy.